welcome back to my channel. So today it's time for my June plan with me, and as you can see I have kind of a different looking thing over here. I'm going to explain everything and you guys will see some of the changes that I've made because it's actually kind of a lot for me. So how are we going to do this? Let's take a look and see how May has been going. I'm actually filming this on the 14th. I think it's the 14th, just because it's gonna get crazy near the end of the month and I wanted to make sure that I actually had this filmed and ready to go for you guys. So it's gonna be a little bit earlier than normal, but I think you guys will have a pretty good idea of how things are going in here based on what I've already done so far in May. So let's take a look first in my bullet journal as to how May is going. May is over here. And you'll notice, I think this happened in the May plan with me, but I have changed my everyday writer. I am using a HI-TEC-C and this is a 0.3. So it went from a 0.4 to a 0.3. A lot of it was because the 0.4 pen that I was using was running out of ink and I knew I was going to need to switch over to a new one. So I just went ahead and did it and decided I wanted to try a 0.3 for a while. All right, so May, have my little quote. I do love the color combination for this month. I'm really enjoying just how calming it is actually. So I have my sort of goals, and actually I had a comment saying that these are kind of like intentions, which I love that like label, I guess, for this. So these are my intentions. I will say I've been doing fairly well on these four. I still have not gotten to these two. We'll see how it goes. Then I have my monthly log and my tasks. So monthly log, as always, I have stopped doing my color coding. I'm just doing sort of a difference between block letters and certain events are in brown ink rather than in black, just so they stand out a little bit more. I haven't even filled in anything for June yet. There isn't really a lot going on. And honestly, I might have to think about, or I might have to rethink how I do some of my future planning, just because I have been using Google Calendars so much that I want to have the monthly log, but do I really need the upcoming month? So I'm going to have to think about that at some point, but for right now, it's fast enough to set up and it's just kind of part of my routine that I'm just leaving it for right now. Tasks, definitely I've been working on some stuff, got some other stuff that hasn't quite been finished, but again, I'm only halfway through the month, so you never know. I've got my tracker. So I did originally have breathe and meditate in the first thing for the morning and the first thing for the evening, and I have gotten out of the habit of doing it, and I eventually decided that I didn't really want to start it back up right now, and so I just whited out those two different things. And what I ended up doing is I added in sewing on the morning, which this is going to kind of change in June, but I did add in sewing because I was just curious how many days a week I actually dedicate to either sewing, sewing prep, any of that kind of stuff. I also have my passion project over here, which is pretty good. I am going to have to rethink my little, so these are in pencil actually, but it's sort of when I schedule doing these tasks, and I've kind of switched them from doing them on Sunday to doing them on Saturday. So either I need to block out the weekend and just fill it in wherever I do it, or move them to Saturday. But again, not a big deal. I am actually doing them, which is the important thing. So that's pretty awesome. Again, review has not happened yet because it's mid-month. I have actually already hit my reading goal for the month, which is awesome. So hopefully I can get a couple more books in before the end of the month. We'll see. I do have a continuation of my YouTube calendar. So I did post this on, oops, here we go, actually the right page. I did post this page on Instagram where anything that's like completed, I've done in pen, but anything that's upcoming, I've actually started doing with sticky notes. And I did in fact leave the penciled in like original movie or the original video on the tracker. I didn't even bother to erase it. I just went over it with sticky notes so that I can reorganize, because things have been kind of crazy. You know, I didn't get to something, or I filmed something that was more time sensitive. And so it really just made sense for me to have a way to easily change my videos. Now it does kind of bother me that these are super long because they kind of get caught when I flip pages and like, yeah, anyway. It's been really helpful. So I also went ahead because obviously this is next month and I was like, I still have a fair amount of space left in here, so I think it's time to do the rest of the calendar year and set it up in my YouTube calendar. So you'll see I've already gone through and done when I want to do my plan with me's. I've already planned for my 2020 goals and plan with me, like, you know, certain things that I know I'm going to do that are sort of, they fall every year or every month or whatever. I did plan those out, but now I have space so I can start planning future videos. And for example, I want to do kind of a mini sort of summer hiatus where I only post like once or twice a month. So that's going to help me sort of lay that out. So that was a collection I threw in here. And then we get into my dailies, and these are a big change. I did start doing this at the end of April, but I have been continuing it, and it's been really nice. I have been journaling. So one of my intentions was to journal every day in May, and you'll see over here, let's see, so this was May 1st, and I actually have journaled every single day, sometimes a lot, sometimes just a little. I even have some book notes. I'm reading Apartment Therapy, so I've got some book notes in here from like the quizzes and the layouts and all that kind of stuff. So this has been really nice. And I don't know, it's been a while since I've had a dedicated journal, so I'm really enjoying having this. And it also means that I can just really focus on having dailies. It's really clear to see. I don't have to like, sort through anything. And it's also, I migrate a lot less because I get literally like a week and a half on each spread. So that's been kind of nice. I also did go back to doing my dates, my date headers in Korean, just because I'm trying to get back into my studies. So I figured that was a really like easy way to get a little bit of writing practice every single day. So I've been doing that. This was basically the first week in May, the second week, and then here we're on the third week. So it's literally like two spreads, I can get about 3 weeks, give or take. So that's literally May, guys. Like, that's it. I do have, I'm going to leave a couple pages to finish out the rest of the month, but like that is kind of May in my bullet journal. I've started doing really just like long-term collections, stuff that I'm gonna refer to on like a weekly or a monthly basis. I will do in here, but I've been using my PROJO for a lot more, and it's been really nice. So let's take a look in there. So you might have seen on my Instagram, actually I did this as a post and I also kind of talked about it in stories, that Claire of Minimal Plan actually sent me the Deluxe PROJO, which is a recycled leather cover, and I love this. It looks so much nicer than the plastic, and it's gonna hold up longer. Like, oh, it's so nice. So I have my same notebooks in here. It actually did come with like a new set of notebooks, so I just took those out and I'll use them later. But I do have my current notebooks in here. So let's take a look at, see, I do have my vision board, worked on some stuff over here, and we've got May. So I am working my way through. I am trying to be really good about, in my bullet journal monthly log, do kind of how the day went, and in here talk about which projects I worked on. So I'm working on that. I'm really trying to like make that distinction, because I think it's going to be a really good record later on to go back and see like how did I feel, but also what did I do. And yeah, anyway. So again, we've got standard setup over here. I'm working my way through some things. Honestly, I have a lot of social events and stuff happening these 2 weekends, and so I'm really trying to get through to prep my lessons ahead of time, essentially through the end of the month, so that I'm not as stressed when these 2 weekends come, because I usually do a lot of my prep on the weekends. And so one of my big goals for this month has been, one, get ahead, so that I'm not super stressed. But I also have this goal in mind for the rest of this school year and for future school years, that I want to find a dedicated time during the week where I do my prep, so that I can have at least 1 day a week that I'm not doing any work. So the way I've kind of done it is on Saturday I do like home stuff, and on Sunday I work. And what I'd like to do is have either Saturday or Sunday I do home stuff, and either Saturday or Sunday I don't do anything. So right now it's been, Saturday is the day that I do all my cooking and I clean and I do laundry. And then what I would like is then for Sunday's the day that I can go for a walk, I can work on personal projects, I can have people over for brunch, do kind of personal things essentially. So that's been a big goal for May. And so I have been working on some other stuff. I have actually started prepping my alphabet in Illustrator. I did sew something. I have been working on my Talk to Me in Korean lessons. I haven't done very much with my website, which was something I wanted to work on. I haven't done a ton of this admin stuff because I've really been focusing on getting to a point where I can have a free day a week. The other thing is I have grades due. So high school grades are due actually tomorrow, and middle school grades are due at the end of the month. So I have been really working on trying to update, like get up to date on all of my grading and to get it so I'm not trying to do comments on the report cards like at the last second, which high school kind of is still gonna work out that way, but whatever. So that's why I've kind of been focusing on work stuff as we're getting to the end of this school year. And then in June, I'm gonna probably focus more on personal projects because I'll have some more time. So I'm only halfway through the month, so obviously I have not done my monthly reflection. I do have this one more month to set up. And actually I realized literally this morning that for some reason I had written down July and I was looking, I was like, I'm definitely done with this particular insert in June. Like what was I thinking? So I fixed that. Anyway, so we've got our weeklies. Let's take a peek here. So that's the end of April. So this is the beginning of May. I have started doing, so I'm doing this no spend, no processed foods challenge, and I'm actually, my accountability buddy is my best friend. And so we do a weekly check-in email on Tuesday where we basically just say like, here's how it's going and here's where I slipped up and why I think it happened, etc. But one of the other things that we're doing is we're kind of updating on what are the things we want to work on during the week. And this has been so good with like, for keeping me on track. So I think I started doing it, here where I was like, oh, I have a couple things I really want to work on, rather than having them all, like they're probably still over here, but these are like, this is what I really want to get done. This is what I've told my accountability buddy that I want to get done this week. So I'm going to put it over here so it's really front and center. And you'll see the first week, I didn't really do so hot. Like I got through a couple of them, but not all of them. And then the next week I got through a ton of stuff, which was really great. And I got through a lot of things on here. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was really focused on getting at least these things done. And once I got on a roll, it was easier to finish some other stuff. And then this was last week, and honestly, I was really focused on doing school stuff, so some of the other things just didn't happen. But I did a ton of grading. I got a bunch of grades in the grade book. I got a lot of stuff prepped, like that side of things. It wasn't necessarily on here, but I did still do a lot, if that makes sense. So I've got this kind of all filled out. I do have a couple more things on certain projects, like outside of work stuff that did get either migrated or scheduled. And then here is this week. So I actually haven't done my little box around this because I'm not sure if I'm gonna add anything. Things have kind of changed in my work schedule and stuff, so I have a little bit more time on some days that I thought I wasn't going to have time, so I'm gonna kind of see how it goes. But my main goal is to get all of my work stuff done, try and reduce my stress level and make it so I don't get sick because I have like this overload of just like stuff going on. So that's really my goal. So I do have stuff on here that I want to work on, but I honestly, like in the back of my mind, I know that there's going to be a fair amount that I probably have to migrate this week and or next week just because of the way things are going to go, and that's fine. So that is this week. I have labeled the next week's, but I haven't actually filled in my schedules. I need to work on doing that soon. So that is kind of the end in here. And then I have been using, actually I've been using my PROJO, the end book, a lot for project planning and all of that kind of stuff. I'm actually up to like page 38, which is great. So this is actually one of the reasons why I don't have as much in my bullet journal. But let's go ahead and take a look at June. So I did a quick little setup over here for June, and you'll notice it's very messy. So I decided that with June, I was going to have like this poppy color scheme. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know if it really is, but that's going to be my color scheme. Because I went through and I noticed I was doing a lot of like blues and like warm greens and stuff. So or cool greens. So I decided that it was time for something kind of orangey. So my main color is going to be this one. It's 905. So it's this kind of like pinky orange, I guess, or peachy orange, who knows. I also have 933, so a slightly like orangey yellow, and then 879, which is a nice dark brown. So those are going to be my colors for this month. And I decided to go for a sort of like productivity motivational quote. So I found, nothing is a mistake, there's no win and no fail, there's only make. Karita Kent. So, and that actually was very messy, it looked like an R. So it's a pretty short quote because I actually wanted to do a little bit more of like a lettered style. I've been doing a lot of like sort of handwritten and cursive, and I was like, yeah, let's do some lettering. Why not? I haven't done that in a while. And I had originally set up that I was going to do my intentions, and I thought about it. I was like, you know, I still want to have the intentions. I think that's a really good, it's a really good thing for me to have. However, I want them to be on a page that I look at a lot. I don't look at my monthly a ton. I flip through it and I'm like, oh yay, I love my quote, and then I kind of keep going. So I decided I wanted to have it on my monthly spread where I've got my monthly log. So I did write down, it's 30 days and the first day is a Saturday, and I did Sunday as well just so I know it wasn't Sunday that was first, just so I know how I'm starting so I don't have to like flip through and find that. And then I'm going to do tasks and intentions on that right spread that normally houses just tasks. I usually only do 5 or 6 tasks, so I definitely have room if I sort of squish things up a little bit to fit both of them. So I think that's going to be, I hope that's going to be a good change. We'll see. Then I've got my tracker, and I'm going to take out one line. So I'm keeping in sewing, but the second empty line that I had that was for my evening meditation, I'm just gonna take out, and I'm actually going to move sewing up to the week level. So most of it's not going to change very much, but I did want to make sure I remembered that I wanted to make that adjustment. And then I will have my reading goals, which is 5 books, as it is for every month in 2019. So that is my setup. I am really enjoying having a dedicated journal, so I'm not going to do gratitude. I'm still, let's see, I told you guys last time that I was going to save my brain dump from April, and you will notice it's not even full, and I still have a ton of open tasks. So once again, I'm not going to do a brain dump. It just doesn't seem necessary. And I will set up in my Projo, but because it's mid-month, I'm not going to set up my projects yet. I'm just going to do a quick setup on the monthly. So that is basically that's June, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and time lapse you guys, and I'll come back at the end and give you a flip through of what everything looks like. So that is June, and because the setup was actually so easy, I kind of decorated, if you will, a little bit more than I have been doing. So I had a little bit of fun with the lettering. I don't know if you could see, I did sort of pick two lines here where I was going to do the big lettered words, and then was like, I think I can fit everything in there. So like, I would have liked to have a little bit more room for this only, but in the end, that was kind of where I wanted to fit to make the look. And because I actually did it higher up on the page, I decided to go ahead and do June all the way down at the bottom, and I kind of love how it came out. So I did, it's kind of hard to see, but I did do little accents in white gel pen on there. Oops. So I rather like how that came out. Here, I think if I had decided to make them a bit bigger, it would be fine with Tombows. It gets squished really quickly if you try and do things too small, but it is what it is. But I do like this quote in general, so I'm looking forward to having that as something I can flip to all throughout June. Then I have my June monthly log, and I did again do a little drop shadow and little like white gel pen accents. Otherwise, that's pretty much the same. I started writing this intentions and it's not entirely centered, so I was like, you know what, we're gonna make it look like it's on purpose, and I just did tasks up on the far left. I did fill out my intentions already, but I'm waiting on tasks for the end of the month. So my intentions for June are to continue flossing daily, to continue journaling daily, to continue going to my bar class once a week, which they do close in the summer, but I think June should still be a full month. We'll find out. I want to keep doing Korean studies 3 times a week, keep working on my font twice a week, and sew 3 things. And these can be big things or small things, but I just want to completely sew 3 things in June. Then I have my tracker and my reading log. So I did take out that one extra line over here, and I was a little worried that I had like miscounted, but we're good. So I didn't have enough room to do a full header over here, so I just did it in a quick little like handwritten block letters. So I've got my skincare legend and my other legend. I did actually clean this up. So I think in my last plan with me, I was like, oh man, I really should have thought about this. So I took out a couple of things where I'm like, I don't need them. So I reordered so that my 2 exercise ones were together, my 2 passion projects were together, and I took out this LDT Lazy Dancer tips because I honestly haven't been doing it. And because I now have a dedicated line for sewing, I no longer need that as a key over here because it's just become like a dot fill-in box. Review, I've got my section over here for that. And then I've also got my little corner for reading, which I really like how this has been working out. It's been really nice to have everything kind of on one page. It's comprehensive enough that I know exactly what I'm doing, but it really doesn't take that much time to set up. So it's been really nice. And that is the end there. So I will show you, I did leave, I believe, 2 full spreads for the end of May. So that should be enough. And I feel like I'm gonna actually have maybe a little extra space here, but given how things are going, I should have plenty of space. This is the shortest month I've ever done. I mean, it's super, super short. But that is June in my bullet journal. Let's take a quick look. In my Projo, I really did not set up much because, as you guys know, I'm filming this kind of early. So I did go ahead and just do my line for YouTube. I starred Sundays for when I post. I did the little line here for splitting up the weeks, and I crossed out over here. But as always with this kind of thing, I am gonna wait to fill it in until I actually finish the month, just because I do still have 2.5 weeks or a little bit more and a lot of stuff that I still want to get done. But that is that, and as you guys know, the journaling just kind of keeps going. I have to say, I'm really loving how this is looking. Like, I'm really proud of myself. I haven't been doing a lot of lettering aside for like making my thumbnails, so it was nice to have a little bit of practice and not just do a super simple setup, which is nice because I think it's taken me about the same amount of time to set up because my setup itself is very static and pretty simple, and so that gives me a little bit more time to play around, which is kind of nice. So that is all I have for you guys for my June plan with me. I will keep you posted as always with how things are going. So keep an eye out over on Instagram for some updates and all that kind of stuff. But if you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!